Hello and welcome to Minute JavaScript, where I cover topics quickly and concisely. Today we'll be using VSCode's Debugger to visualize closures. I'm going to start by putting a breakpoint on line 4 and then starting the debugger. So as you can see here, there's two different sections, global and local. We don't need to worry about global right now. This is just Node's global object. It's similar to window in the browser. So I'm just going to go ahead and expand local. And I can see that ABC and XYZ are both represented in my local scope. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this and then just wrap the console log in a function. Of course, I have to call the function to execute it, and I'm going to press F5 to start the debugger. Now I can see that I have local, log ABC, closure, and global. Now the local log ABC is the context that I'm in right now, which is line 5. So I'm scoped to the log ABC function. And you can see that within the scope I have access to this. But ABC is not displayed there. I'll be able to find that if I open up the closure. And in the debug console tab, I can actually type out ABC to see what the value of this is. Now the interesting thing about this is that it's not showing XYZ, which if it shows ABC, which is on the same level, you would expect it to output XYZ. And if I were to type this into the console, XYZ, you can see that XYZ is not defined. Now this is telling me that there's some optimizations that the JavaScript engine is making behind the scenes. While it's creating a closure for this function, it's only including in that closure what is necessary. And that's just ABC because it's included here. Because I'm not using XYZ in the function, it's not available in the closure. And I can test this theory just by adding XYZ to the function and rerunning. Now just by adding XYZ here, I can see that it's available in the closure. Again, if I type in the debugger ABC, XYZ, now they're both available. Now I'm going to experiment with another type of closure. So I'm going to wrap this in a function. I'm just going to call it create log ABC. And in here, I'm just going to return the log ABC function. So here, of course, I'm going to have to call create log ABC, and I'm going to set this to a value. I'll just call it log ABC. Now, create log ABC is going to return the log ABC function, which I'm going to be setting to log ABC here. So this here is actually a function that I'm going to have to call. So now that I'm calling the function on line 13, I'm going to hit the debugger again, and I can see the same local and closure that I had before. But I could move XYZ inside of create log ABC. Now let's see what this looks like. So now I have two closures. A closure ABC, which is for this outer scope ABC, and then another closure from the create log ABC from this function here containing XYZ. And of course I can access all of these in the debugger. So what I really love about this is that it gives me a really visual way of looking at the closures. I can not only see the closures, but where they're created. So here this closure is from create log ABC, and I can see that I have another closure from my local, which is just this, and also an unnamed closure just called ABC. And one last thing just for fun, because value equals hello, I'm going to rerun this, and I can see now in my local it's showing, in addition to this, the value hello. Now if I were to convert this classic function into an arrow function, and run this again, I can now see that log ABC has this as undefined. I'm going to run it in here to see what it is, undefined. But we know it shouldn't be undefined because this is still within a function, and worst case scenario, it should give me the global scope. So this again is an optimization having to do with not using this within this scope here. So if I were to just add this to the scope just to make it available and rerun my debugger, I can now see this is set to global, which is exactly what I expected it to be. So if I run this in the debug console, there it is. So that was how to visualize closures using the debugger, and I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends and coworkers. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.